It's paint and players. It's colorful and in your face. Paintballs. Paintball players, the best in the world, gathered in Orlando for the World Paintball Championships. We're set for Game 2 in the second round. Let's go to Fred Schultz with the teams.
I'm here again with Bad Company from Maryland. You guys are getting ready to play your next game. Now you're going up against another good team. You played this field once already. Is there anything you're going to change, Tommy?
We're going to hold back a little this time. The All-Americans made a mistake in their first game and lost, so we have a pretty good point advantage. So we're going to hold out till there's 17 minutes left, and then we're going to go for the max and cut out their chance of getting ahead of us on points.
Right. You know, the wind's starting to be not so much of a factor right now. It's starting to run.
We lucked out in the timing. When we had the blue side, the wind was in our favor, and now that we're on the red side, the wind's not going to have a factor at all.
Okay, you played the field already. Anything you're going to change?
Well, today we need a high score, so it's going to be an exciting game. We're going to go for them hard, off the go, and you can expect some excitement anyway.
So to get a higher score, basically what you're saying is you have to get in, pull the flag, and bring it back in a quicker amount of time than it was done yesterday.
That's right. We hope for 10 to 13 minutes.
At the start, All-Americans coming from the left in blue, and Bad Company from the right in red. Heading for the middle bunker is Lorenz Dickerson, and he makes it.
And look at how far up the All-Americans came. They are ready for an offensive push early on. They need it.
As we heard in the opening interviews, the All-Americans have to have points. They got only 24 in their opening round win over the Banzai Bandits, while the Bad Company team picked up 140 in demolishing the Palm Beach Predators. Since you take the points from the first two games to find out which teams go to the final, crucial for the All-Americans to score big here. Settling in, looking for the angles, Jerry.
Yes, the All-Americans have to create a soft spot in Bad Company's defenses. They have to do it soon if they're going to make their way past the midfield mark and capture Bad Company's flag within 10, 12 minutes.
You can see the wind kicking up the far tape there, the wind at the back of the All-Americans. That's to their advantage as we take a look at a key defenseman for Bad Company, and that is Leroy Roeder, number 98.
Here's George Davison, All-Americans.
Very snazzy headgear on the All-Americans, Jerry.
Yeah, they've come out geared up. Let's hope that...
Literally.
Yeah, right.
The All-Americans, by the way, from all over the U.S. and one from Britain. One of their key players, Phil Ham, also an Englishman, is out. He injured his knee badly in the first game and is on the sidelines. We expect to hear from him later in this contest as we look at Bill Gardner for the All-Americans.
Bad Company has a good setup. They're well placed defensively. There's O. Pollock. He's up a ways.
Tucking in as the official checks to see if he might have been hit.
The All-Americans are in a tremendous offensive position. They dominate their side of the field and have tremendous fire lanes toward Bad Company. If you look, O. Pollock is the only one up for Bad Company, but the rest of them are back in a layered defense. It's going to be tough for the All-Americans to get through.
You score in paintball by eliminating your opponents, 10 men to a side, 4 points for each opponent you eliminate. You get 10 points for pulling the opponent's flag first and 50 more for hanging that flag at your flag station. And for every full minute under 20 you get that done, up to 10, you get 10 additional points. So you can score 200 points in a game of paintball. Very close to that is what the All-Americans must do in order to win and move on, because they can win without moving on.
They can, because you take the score for the first game, add it to the score for the second game for all of the winning teams, and the three top scores, aggregating in that way, move on to the finals.
Not a great deal of movement yet, because at this point in the game, only the three forwards may cross midfield. After 5 minutes passes, then the four halfbacks also may cross, and after 10 minutes, everybody, including defensemen, may go anywhere on the field. As we heard Bill Gardner say in the pregame interview, probably between 10 and 13 minutes gone in the game is when the All-Americans hope to make their move. Meanwhile, each team trying to pick off single members of the opposite team, gain an advantage, get a few points, Jerry.
Yes, and also create soft spots, because if the All-Americans are going to move, or for that matter, if Bad Company's going to move, They've got to soften the position of their opposition so they've got lines to move in.
And there's Captain Bill Gardner moving up in the defensive area for the All-Americans. You see behind the solid blue bunker. Here we look at these striped bunkers. That indicates the front quarter of your part of the field. If it's striped with white and the color you're wearing, you're in the front. If it's solid color, red or blue, you're in the back. That's how you can tell where they are on the field.
And O. Pollock from Bad Company moved up into the solid white bunkers, but he is way, way in front of the rest of his team.
You're not allowed to fire paintballs with too much speed. Fred has more about how they check for that.
Basically, a chronograph's like a radar. What happens is you put the gun on top of it, shoot a ball, and it's going to measure the speed that the ball's traveling at. It's usually measured in feet per second. And you're just checking to make sure that the limits on the balls are within safety guidelines.
Exactly. What is the limit for this tournament itself right now?
This tournament's about 300 feet per second, and it is about 200 miles an hour if you're doing a conversion.
Still early in this one, no score between the All-Americans and Bad Company. The 1996 World Paintball Championships are brought to you by Paintball Sports Magazine. From pickup games to tournaments, novice players and champions alike read Paintball Sports Magazine. We've got it going in round 2 of the World Paintball Championships here in Orlando, Florida. Hello, everybody. I'm John Nicholson, along with Jerry Braun, the managing editor of Paintball Sports Magazine. And in this one, Jerry, you have got Bad Company against the All-Americans. Bad Company with 140 points coming in, and the All-Americans only 24. The points carry over, so the All-Americans are deep in a hole.
Deep in a hole. Bad Company can afford to sit. The All-Americans have to go after them, and go after them early in order to have a chance to get into the finals.
This has become such an exciting sport, Jerry, as we watch this tournament. The industry growing by leaps and bounds.
We're only 15 years old as an industry, and the recreational player as well as the tournament player, it's become phenomenal. John, this industry is over $1 billion in the retail sales every year.
And getting bigger all the time. All right, Jerry, let's get back to the action now with Bad Company and the All-Americans. Back to the field. Captain Bill Gardner of the All-Americans, still no score in this contest. And there is O. Pollock in the front bunker for Bad Company, but Jerry, at the moment, not much of an advantage for him.
No, because you can see how close the All-Americans are to him, while his team is way, way back.
As we've said throughout the tournament, support is so important, not only to get a guy in the front bunker, but to have guys close behind to help out. There's the 5-minute horn, indicating now the midfielders as well as the forwards may cross midfield. We don't expect to see that happen right away, but if anybody would do it, certainly it would be the very well-positioned All-Americans. Look how many guys they have close to midfield.
Tremendous number.
As we take a look at Pete Robinson leaning back there, Jerry. Again, how do you make yourself small by leaning back?
Stay low to the ground, but make sure you're facing forward so you can see the whole area in front of you.
Looks like some squeegee action coming up here. Sometimes the paintballs will explode in the barrel of your marker, and if that's the case, you've got to pull out your squeegee and clean your equipment. Otherwise, it's not going to work well for you. Each player carrying that kind of equipment along with as many as 2,500 paintballs.
The All-Americans have power in the middle. Bad Company has one person up close, but that's it. We can see the All-Americans are poised to attack at their will. There's Pete Robinson again, and John, like you said, you can see how low he's getting and how small he's making himself.
George Davison for the All-Americans, still working on cleaning out his marker. You want to have your equipment in good working order when it's time to make the push as we move down toward the 10-minute mark in this game. And take a look at Lorenz Dickinson, the wheels for the All-Americans in that front bunker.
Look at how far back Bad Company is, John. Again, a layered defense. They know the All-Americans have to come for him. One player up front. The rest of them way back waiting.
You can hear the players calling to each other. On the sideline, a player who wishes desperately he were there. He can't be. He's hurt. Fred Schultz is with Phil Ham.
Phil, it's got to be killing you sitting on the sidelines watching your team play like this.
It's not good. We haven't got eliminations either side at the moment.
No, it's actually still even.
Exactly even. 10 on 10. We have got a strategy. We were going to try and do it within the 10 to get the full 200 points. But it doesn't look like it's going to be possible. At the very worst, we have to complete the game and win it within the 15 to stand a chance of qualifying.
Yeah, Bill says that he wanted to do it within 10 to 13 minutes. That was his whole game plan because he needs the points.
That's right. Within the next minute and a half, things will start happening. I hope.
My guess is it's got to be 10 times harder to sit out here and watch than it is actually playing right now.
I'll tell you what I'd like to have. I'd like to have a gun and just walk along the sidelines and shoot a few of them out.
He would like to, but I don't think he will. Steve Hopkins more likely to make something happen for the All-Americans as we check him in the front quarter of his area. And there, Jeff Shank for Bad Company, looking up, checking things out, and getting right back down again. You don't want to make a mistake here as we near the 10-minute horn where everybody may go everywhere. Because while All-Americans have the dominant position now, I think, Jerry, one mistake could change that significantly.
Well, if they lose too many people before they make the push, their weakened state will not allow any effective movement on their part. Bad Company's waiting for them. They know the All-Americans have to come, and the All-Americans know that Bad Company know that.
Lorenz Dickinson in that midfield bunker checking out the situation. The field is 500 feet long. Midfield, therefore, 250 feet from either end, and it's 200 feet wide. So when the push comes, and the push has to come if the All-Americans plan to move on, they need to knock off people and sprint another 250 feet up to the flag station, then bring the flag back 500 feet. That's a long run. There's Bill Gardner making a short run. Angling for position, moving up man by man.
Look at how close the two center players are. Lorenz Dickinson and O. Pollock, All-Americans and Bad Company.
And Dickinson leaning out to the right as you look at him on our left, but Pollock really dug down in there. Greg Malashevsky getting in some abdominal exercises for the All-Americans. Still no score. Still no score. Game 2, round 2 of the World Paintball Championships. The All-Americans and Bad Company. And the All-Americans need a big score. Bill Gardner sprinting ahead for the All-Americans, making it safely to the bunker. And there is the first player out. That is Chris Ramuzzi of Bad Company, eliminated, making the score All-Americans 4, Bad Company nothing. But the All-Americans are going to need a lot more if they're going to move ahead. Bad Company only has to hold on. Look at the paintballs flying by. There is another player out of there. It is Mike Leffler for Bad Company. So now All-Americans lead 8-0. And just like that, two guys gone.
And the All-Americans are starting to move up. Bill Gardner is now positioned from his defensive position up to offensive capability. He's trying to get angles on the far tape.
Trying to create those soft spots you always talk about, Jerry. With two guys gone, that should set one up, I would think.
Yeah. George Davison just looking around. There's Tommy Cole.
Being checked by two officials. Wiping perhaps a spot of paint off Tommy's cheek. He's okay. That's not a hit. O. Pollock in the center bunker. There's the 10-minute horn. And O is shouting something to his teammates. Still stuck in that center bunker. There's what he's shouting about. Bill Gardner is out for the All-Americans. Captain Bill Gardner eliminated, making the score 8-4. Let's take another look, Jerry.
Bill was in a good position to lay paint on the far tape line of Bad Company, but it was too hot a position. He was out. He's eliminated. George Davison's taking his place.
And now it appears George is out of there as he raises his hand and stands up. Indeed, George is gone. That makes the score 8-8. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, Fred Schultz is with Chris Ramuzzi of Bad Company.
Was it sticking out behind the bunker? I mean, did they get an angle or come
I'm sitting like this, and I pulled it out a little bit to reload, and it just snuck out. They're firing at me the whole game.
Well, it looks like you guys are pretty well positioned out there.
Yeah, we just scored 2, so it's even up now.
Steve Hopkins of the All-Americans, who now find themselves tied once again at 8-8. And now that we're under 10 minutes left in the game, each passing minute costs the All-Americans a potential 10 points. 10 points they need desperately if they hope to make the final round of 3.
He's not at the bunker! He's not at the bunker! He's out!
Again, only 3 teams make the round-robin final, and it's determined by the score total of your first 2 games, win or lose.
Bad Company is still well positioned defensively. 8-8 makes it more difficult for the All-Americans because they have less people to work with, but they're still in a dominant position. They can still make it happen.
I'm blind to my left, baby. Y'all let me know if it comes.
Something's got to happen soon. Rodney Squires of the All-Americans tied with Bad Company at 8-8. Each passing second. Bad news for the All-Americans. They have got to make a move soon.
And they're ready to make a move. 8 players up for the All-Americans as opposed to 1 for Bad Company. The problem for the All-Americans, the rest of the Bad Company teams waiting for them. Look how far back the defense is from O'Pollock in the front.
The game has played out so far almost exactly as the captain said it would in the pregame interviews. Bad Company saying, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. All-Americans saying, we're going to be aggressive. There they are. But now they have to do the other thing they said they're going to do, make a move. And they really can't waste time. I keep emphasizing that, but they must know they're losing potential points, and each point is crucial. You can see eliminated players up there in the stands. They're allowed to call out instructions to their teammates as long as they stay in a small area. There's an official on the far tape telling a photographer, no, you can't be there. You might help somebody. Steve Hopkins up on his feet now. Does this indicate the start of something? You know they wanted to. Steve Robinson for Bad Company giving support to O'Pollock on the right there in the middle bunker. But everybody else, as we've said, is back. They're ready. They're ready for a move. Not even leaning out. Little reload there. O'Pollock decides to lean out and take a shot, trying to hold the people off, and has to duck back in quickly.
He's isolated, John, but he's important. As long as he stays alive, the All-Americans won't be able to make an effective move.
Kevin! You want to know, is there somebody in the V?
You hear the call, is there somebody in the V? Of course, we know O'Pollock is there for Bad Company, and now all the All-Americans are on the same page. They know what they have to do. They know who's where.
If the All-Americans can eliminate O'Pollock, they can dominate the center. But they've got to get him out of there.
Lorenz Dickinson up on his feet, up on the far wire. You see Chuck Hench making a move. And Chuck is out of there. There goes Dickinson, meanwhile, up, and he picks off O'Pollock, it would appear. Heads for the bunker. Oh, the bunker goes down!
So
a rain of paintballs, exactly, Jerry. Lorenz is gone. And now there is another All-American player out. And another Bad Company player out. And all of a sudden, they're going just like that.
Here comes Chris Grantham. He gets hit. Chris Grantham of Bad Company gets hit. He's out. Pete Robinson firing, taking heat.
And a tackle there by an official. Richard Travis takes Robinson down, apparently trying to make sure he doesn't shoot anybody else because he's gone. That is proactive officiating, Jerry.
And Richard's big enough to get away with it, too.
Here comes a move for the flag. It had to be all or nothing for the All-Americans, and it appears it's going to be all in terms of going for the flag and getting it, but will it be enough?
That's Steve Barber. He's got the flag. It was quite a run, like you said, John, 250 feet. He's got to get it back as soon as possible.
And he's got to be sure he's got a clear path.
Rodney Squires was put out. There's Steve Hopkins. Hand off to Steve.
Steve trying to get there as quickly as he can. May not have enough time. It's going to be a pull and a hang for the All-Americans, but it could all be for naught. He's got it. Now comes the crucial part. They check for paint, they celebrate, but the score is important. On the sidelines, Fred, with a guy who made a key move for the All-Americans.
That was an awesome move you did going up there, man. I see what happened. You wiped out in the bunker there, huh?
You have knocked that board over.
Yeah, turn around sideways. I don't think there'd be a paint check on that one.
Great moves by the All-Americans. Chuck Hench on the far tape makes it into the middle bunker. Pollock has got to concentrate on him and take him out. But when he does, that allows Lorenz Dickinson of the All-Americans from the middle bunker to come around and get O. You can see Lorenz looking around, watching his timing. There he goes. O is out, gets Chuck. Lorenz gets O. Lorenz keeps going, knocks down the bunker. He's able to take out Steve Robinson before he gets taken out. He takes the middle away from bad company. He gets taken out. Lorenz gets taken out, but he did his job.
There's Phil Ham celebrating with his teammates. Phil, of course, unable to play.
Bad company was able to stop the initial rush. We see one of the All-Americans getting taken out. He had a paint spot on him. Look at Chris Grantham, though, making a counter move. He gets hit. He gets eliminated in the head. Here's another angle on LD's move to the bunker. He just eliminated Pollock. He takes that bunker down. He eliminates Steve Robinson. He gets hit from several different angles, but he did his job.
Jeff Shank leaving the field for bad company. And here is his teammate Jackie George. Everybody eliminated, but how long did they hang on? That's the crucial point here. It is possible for bad company to move ahead even though they have lost this game. We'll be back to find out in just a moment. The officials so important in this game as they count up the points for each team. And we go to the sidelines where Fred Schultz is all set with bad company's captain.
Tommy, what happened out there, buddy?
We waited for them to come. They made their push. We countered the push. We felt we needed the points. We still think we got enough points to get in. We needed 8 eliminations.
Oh, so you still feel that you're in on it then?
Yes, we scored the 8 eliminations that we needed, so we feel we're good.
So basically you did exactly what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I wish we wouldn't have gone so soon. That was my fault. I made a bad call there, but I thought they were down further a little than they were, so my fault.
Well, I can see it wasn't much of a paint check on that one, was there?
No, they got me somewhere else too, so.
Gentlemen!
Ultimate Judge Bob Rose calling for surviving players to get the final score, and what it's going to show is that the All-Americans won this one, but overall they wind up as the losers. The 1996 World Paintball Championships brought to you by Westgate Resort. Over 1,000 suites in the Orlando area, minutes away from all area attractions. And by Paintball Sports Magazine, game sites, stores, equipment, special events, the first and last word in paintball all over the world. Bad Company racks up 172 points over the 2 games. The final score here, 140-32 for the All-Americans. But Bad Company still has a chance to move on. The All-Americans don't have enough. Our next game will feature Rage out of Florida against Avalanche based in Colorado. The final game in round 2 with everybody pointing for the World Championship trophy. For Fred Schultz and Jerry Braun, I'm John Nicholson. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.